I think at the same time, they don't want to see war. They want to see the Middle East calm, because at the end of the day, war is going to hurt everybody globally. So, does Iran want to form a nuclear weapon to destroy its enemies in the Middle East, namely Israel? I don't know. I really don't know. I think that when you go back to 2003, just, like I said, I'm just paralleling this to the Iraq War. Now, when we go back to 2003, Colin Powell sat in there and did the whole speech about, Saddam Hussein wanting to do some type of nuclear weapon and weapons of mass destruction. And we were all sold that because we thought that Iraq wants to do something dangerous to the world. Now, this is a whole nother time, obviously, because the U.S. right now, left and right, Republican, Democrat, I don't think either one wants war, because war is going to cost the U.S. money. And, right now they're selling it like, okay, the U.S. will just go in and drop these big bunker busting bombs and that'll be it. It'll be a heavy hit and it'll be over. But it doesn't end like that, right? Now, whether the U.S. will actually bring troops into Tehran, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna come to that. We'll probably just drop huge bombs and destroy a lot of that land. But you got to remember, Iran is one of the oldest. That's one of the oldest civilizations in the area. The Persian people. So destroying that is not going to necessarily be something that just happens and then it's over. That's the problem, and I think that's the thing we have to think about. Let's look at the bunker busting bombs they're talking about. This is a 30,000 pound bomb that's supposed to be on this B-2 Spirit bomber.
Well, as Israel and Iran continue to exchange strikes and the Trump administration weighs its options, there's one resource drawing some attention. It's called the B-2 Spirit bomber. It can carry a so-called bunker buster bomb capable of penetrating 200 feet inside a target. The B-2s are primarily located at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. And that's where we find CBS News correspondent Ian Lee. Ian, tell us a little bit more about this very impressive instrument, the B-2 bomber.
Hi, Elizabeth. Yeah, if that bomber were to take off, it would fly pretty much directly over me. We've been out here waiting, seeing if it's going to take off, but this is a very special plane. It is a stealth bomber, and as you pointed out, it can carry a bunker buster bomb. This is the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator. This is a 30,000 pound guided bomb that insane, this plane can deliver anywhere in the world from this plane taking off from right behind me. And this is significant because it would be then targeting, if it were to go to Iran, the Fordo nuclear power plant. This is a power plant that's buried underneath a mountain. And so this is really one of the only bombs that could even try to get down that far. The bomb can penetrate about 200 feet deep.
The nuclear sites for Iran are hundreds of feet deep, underground, under concrete. Now, this 30,000 pound bomb, it actually penetrates 100 or so feet into the ground, and then from what I understand, they have to drop another one, so it penetrates deeply. Then they have to drop a second bomb to keep penetrating to get down there. And the reason why the U.S. is going to be involved, we are really the only. Without us, Israel can drop bombs, but in order to destroy the nuclear sites of Iran, they're going to need the U.S. And this is where I think that I'm hoping they go ahead and negotiate, because with the U.S. getting involved, I think it's gonna cause other powers to get involved, namely China. I don't think Russia's gonna do anything. They don't really have money and or time to really get involved like that, but China does. But I don't think that they want to, but they may. So what does regime change look like, right? So let's go back to 2003 again, when we invaded Iraq and we got rid of Saddam Hussein. The Iraqi people were all excited about regime change, and, they're excited about what the future of Iraq could be. What did we see? We saw more fighting in Iraq. We saw more death. We saw chaos. We saw a destabilized, weak government, right? And we saw more terrorism, right? And then from there, that terrorism essentially spreaded across the Middle East. And of course, we saw large amounts of, the U.S. military die. So the question is, can you have regime change and it be smooth? And I think that regime change only works when it comes from within, right? If there was a coup within that country and there was a strong military coup, then you could have regime change and it could happen. But America trying to do regime change, I haven't seen that work.